Hi, friends, and welcome to another episode of the Everyday Grind, where we come together to share our experiences, learn from each other, and stay aware of the events going on around us. I'm your host, William Obiana, and the topic for today is about the end of an era where tech workers' happiness is currently on the decline. Now, if you would like to engage and have a conversation, you can reach out on Twitter and Instagram at William Obiana. Now, the technology industry has been considered like a very desirable industry to work in for almost 20 years now. It's offering high salaries, and a lot of people have the opportunity to grow their career and they get to work with a lot of cutting edge technology. But the thing is, as this sector is already growing and things are beginning to change in the environment and the economy in general, you know there's a lot of dissatisfaction that has been coming up right now. People are feeling like their jobs are getting very stressful. People are suffering from burnout, and the whole concept of work-life balance no longer exists anymore. And with the growing rate at which these tech giants have been firing people left, right, and center, it's causing stress in people working in the tech sector. They're all feeling like, is my job secure? Am I going to be next? Should I actually begin to change careers if I just to protect myself from this kind of crazy things of getting fired and all? And this is making the people that who are in these companies to take on bigger workload because of the lack of staff, and basically they are cutting off so much people that those that are remaining are just going to have to take on this workload. So you can imagine. Now, because of this, the side effect of all of this is that it's bringing back the idea of bossism. It's like when you ask someone, what is bossism all about? And it's simply just giving the powers to managers. Like, they start to feel like they own their employees and their decision is law. You can't do anything without their go ahead. Prior to the previous methodologies of everybody's inclusive, you share your thoughts, you share your ideas, and we work together on this and see how we can make the best out of it. But right now, things are changing. Now, managers are feeling like bosses, and they tend to use this power to oppress their employee, and it can affect the morale, and they feel like they don't have a choice, because if you fuck up, you're fired. So people are like, oh, they have to actually suck it up to their bosses, and their bosses are actually beginning to, and they feel like gods in some sort. So this is not something that most of the employees that are under this type of management tend to benefit a lot out of. And typically, a good leader shouldn't do this, but in a way they do have to do it, because it's not their fault. The things are changing, and they feel like they have to micromanage their employees. So I don't really blame them so much, because I understand where it is they're coming from, but it is what it is. Next is that the investors who are really pouring money into these tech companies, they've actually begun to cut down on their investments, because, well, the economy is not so great and they are looking out for their investments. They want to have their return on investments. And when they would have conversations with the CEOs, asking the CEOs, what is the plan? How do you guys intend to generate revenue? And what is the strategy in cutting down the cost? These CEOs will be under pressure. They will be thinking, okay, well, we really need to show positive numbers to our investors. And since the market is not doing so great right now, they are not making a lot of money from what they are on their sales and revenue generation. Well, they have to get positive numbers by cutting down on the cost. So they begin to look back on their process and be like, what is the things that we can get rid of that would improve our bottom line? They cut off all the extra stuff, and obviously it starts with the lowest paid workers, and they look at the workers and see who is the most productive, who's the least productive, and they cut off the least productive workers. Once they've done that, they go in and be like, what are all the benefits that we are giving them, and how can we cut off some of these benefits that are not necessary? So they begin to give some uh, outrageous claims like, well, if you want to work from home, you should understand that you get to lose some of the employee benefits. Like, for example, if there was benefits that came with, I don't know, flex plans, or something regarding the workstation that you need to, like the laptop you need to work with, or the keyboard that you need to work with, or something of those natures. They cut it off. Or sometimes, transport, they do give the benefits of transportation to some of the employees. Well, they cut it off. You're working from home, you don't get to have such benefits. And this kinds of puts a lot of pressure on the employees, because it would make them feel like they're not being rewarded for their work, and it would make them feel like it would force them to want to come back to the workplace just to get those benefits. And at the end of the day, if they are not complying with some of these terms, again, they just get fired. Now, this is unfortunate, but we are currently in the era of investor pressure on these companies. So, on the overall market, if the management feels like they have to make some structural changes to ensure that they're getting revenue, they'll do it. Now, because the tech industry, it's happening this way, it does not mean that it's going to decline all the way down to zero. Tech is still important. There's still a need for young employees, but it would mean that the demand right now is low, and there's a high supply of tech guys. And if you've really been paying attention to the ads that go on, a lot of people are putting out ads on learn how to be a software developer in X amount of months, learn this, learn that, all related to the digital, some sort of digital skill, and related to the tech industry in some way or form. And it makes these people willing to go through. It makes these young professionals willing to take shit just to have a job, because, well, they've got bills to pay. And a 20-year-old is willing to sacrifice his work-life balance just to ensure that he has that money coming in comparison to a 35-year-old person that is willing to take a little chill pill, take care of his family, trying to handle how he's willing to manage his work and his home life properly. A 20-year-old is willing to burn 18 plus hours a day just to ensure that the work gets done. So there's more incentives on the companies to hire younger people who are hungry to actually do this. Now, it's not like all tech companies actually do this. Some do, some don't, but it's always important to know that whenever you're going to do this, anything can happen, and you need to leverage. So some of the things you can do to leverage this situation would be for you to network around, get to communicate with other HR people who might be looking for specific experience points, and always keep your options open, just so you don't find yourself in a situation where you're fired and you don't actually have something to pivot into. And I hope this was actually helpful, just to give you guys some tips on what's going on with the tech industry, because there has been some misconception that it's like a evergreen business, and it is evergreen business, but just like every industry and every job, only the people with the highest skill set make it to the top. So if you're willing to put in the sacrifice to actually be the best in your skill set, I advise you do that. But other than that, always stay flexible, always keep your options open, and be ready to pivot at any time. So with that, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Take care, and bye bye.